I watched the entirety of the Heartstopper adaptation this morning and I have some feelings. Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is a slightly unexpected one. I wasn't planning on filming this. I had something else that I was going to film today ready to go up tomorrow, the day that you guys are seeing this, and then I spent the morning watching the entirety of the Heartstopper adaptation on Netflix and I just wanted to talk about it. Basically that is what I'm here to do. For anyone who hasn't watched it yet, I'm going to start off with non-spoilery thoughts and then I will let you guys know when I get to more spoiler filled feelings. But for the beginning I'm going to be non-spoiler. I'm aware that not everyone will have been able to watch this all in one go. Some people just don't like watching things all in one go, but yeah, I had the day off work and I decided to watch them all. They're only half an hour each and there's only 8 episodes, so it takes like 4 hours to watch the entire thing. And I decided that was how I was going to spend my morning, because of course it was. For anyone who doesn't know, who maybe hasn't watched some of my videos before, you may not know that this is one of my favourite series of all time. Alice Oseman is one of my favourite authors of all time. I love the Heartstopper series. I also love her novels as well, her prose work. And yeah, I have been very, very excited for this series to come out. So it released today, Friday the 22nd of April, and it came on at 8 AM UK time. Like I said, I watched it straight away. It is based on the first 2 volumes of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. So this is a story of 2 boys who meet in school. They are put in the same form class. And one of them, Charlie, is out at school. The other one, Nick, goes through a little bit of a journey of discovering what his sexuality is throughout this story. And it's just a slice of life tale of their relationship. It's quite calm. It's become a comfort read for many people. There is more sort of heavy hitting topics as we go further on in the series. There is a lot of talk of mental health, in particular eating disorders and self-harm. But it's not this big like angsty dramatic romance or anything like that. It's just really cute and really adorable. And it's a story that I have reread many times. Actually, I reread these first 2 volumes this morning. I am going to reread volume 3 and 4 this afternoon. Now I've finished watching the series, I'm going to kind of continue on the story with this. I did want to reread them all before I watched it, but I did not have time to read them all because I read these both like at 7 AM when I woke up before it got released, and then at 8 I was like, nope, putting it down now, I'm going to watch the show instead. So general thoughts, I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that I loved it. It was very, very good. It's a very good adaptation. So the adaptation is actually written by Alice Oseman herself as well, and I feel like you can see that in the show. Like, it is very true to the heart of the story. It's very true to a lot of the actual beats of the story. A lot of the dialogue is taken directly from the show itself. You can also, like, you could put pictures of the graphic novel next to pictures of the TV show and it would match completely, and it's just, it made my heart so happy to see all of that. There was also little hints of Alice's animation within it as well, like you'll see that in the trailer, and the little leaves and things that follow them around, and that was really cute just to sort of tie it all together. And it came up in moments where there were like cute things happening and things like that, so it sort of added to the feels of it all. It was just a very well done adaptation that you could tell wanted to pay tribute to this amazing comic book series. It also had an amazing cast. Like, these actors that they found for this fit these roles perfectly. They actually did like an open casting call for a lot of the characters, so people who maybe like didn't have agents, had never really done professional work before, got the chance to audition for this, and some of those actors made it to the show. I think some of them have worked before but some of them haven't, not in a professional way anyway, and you could tell that they spent a lot of time and effort in getting the right actors for these parts. Not only did they look like the characters in the comic book, but they were also just very like well picked for the characteristics and things like that as well. I would like sort of break it down into which ones I thought were the best for their parts, but like I seriously loved them all. Like, I loved Charlie, I loved Nick. Elle was fantastic. I loved her storyline. I liked that her storyline was fleshed out a little bit more as well, because you got to see a little bit more of her at her school whilst the boys are at their school, which also then brought Tara and Darcy into it a little bit more as well, which was also fantastic. Tao was hilarious, which I loved. Then we have some new characters as well, one of which I will go on to a little bit more in the spoiler section, but we'll get there. Basically, all I can say in the non-spoiler section is that this is a really good adaptation. I would recommend everyone watch it. Whether you've read the comic book or not, I think people will enjoy it either way, because I think it's just a really well told version of this story, and I'm glad that it's going to be out there for larger audiences. Right, if you have not watched the show, please click away now, come back when you've watched it, or not, you know, completely up to you. But I'm going to start talking spoilers because I need to talk about this show a bit more. Right, 5-second warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone who doesn't want to know spoilers should have left now. Let's start talking about it, shall we? So, I don't even know where to start, to be honest. I could talk about like the one thing that I didn't really like in the show, which was one of the new characters. So we had 2 new characters. We had Isaac, whom we had Imogen. Isaac was definitely a replacement for the character of Aled, who has his own story in the book of Radio Silence, and I believe they said that they took him out of this because if they'd have put him in it, it would have meant that they couldn't really do his story justice in Radio Silence if they ever decide to adapt that and sort of have it in the same world, because a lot of Alice's stories actually all take place within the same universe. They're all around these 2 central schools, so if you start adapting other stories, they are actually going to take place at the same time, and if you had Aled in this, you would have to change his storyline and not sort of see what happens with him in Radio Silence. And I'm glad they made that decision, because I love Radio Silence so much, and I would much rather see a perfect adaptation of that than sort of force him into this and then ruin that. But Isaac, the character they brought in instead, I really enjoyed. It was similar to Aled in some ways. It was like he was almost like the quiet friend in there, which was similar, but he also had his own little things as well. I love that he was always carrying a book and was always reading throughout. I quite liked sort of spotting what the books were throughout it as well. Like at one point he was actually reading Radio Silence, which I really enjoyed. Imogen, I did not love her. Like, she was funny at times. The whole scene with Tara and Darcy when she describes herself as an ally was hilarious because it was so awful. But I felt like her character was brought in just to kind of bring some drama, which I get it, for TV purposes you do want a little bit more of a will they won't they type thing, but the beauty of Heartstopper is that once Nick and Charlie are together, there isn't really much massive drama within their relationship. There are other things that they have to go through, which mostly to do with things like Charlie's mental health, like those sort of struggles are going to affect their relationship, but there isn't like a lot of like, are they going to break up, there's somebody else that they're interested in or anything like that. So it felt like she was sort of brought in just for a little bit of drama, which we didn't really need, but I do get that it was there for the TV show, but it did just irritate me a bit. I'm hoping that if there is a series 2, which I really, really hope there is, that they can kind of add a little bit more to her character and make her like more of a reason for being there if she is going to be there. Anyway, that was the only thing that like slightly threw me off a little bit. I actually liked all the other stuff that they kind of added in and built upon. A lot of it was a bit more drawn out because, like I said, this is the first 2 volumes, and if you think back, really, not a lot happens in these first 2 volumes other than them meeting, becoming friends, getting together. That is literally it. Most of the sort of bigger points of the storyline comes in 3 and 4, so they did have to kind of add something, and I am glad with the way that it all kind of played out. I loved a lot of the scenes that you could, like I said, take from the page. So like the first kiss scene was done perfectly. Like I just read it this morning and it was word for word and pretty much like picture for picture the scene from the comic book, and I loved that. Same with the rain scene as well. I also just really liked any time that you saw like the friendship group hanging out, because you get more of that later on in the comic book, like from the Paris trip onwards really, but you got a lot more of that in the TV show, and I loved that because I think that's where this story really thrives. It's just that sort of family vibe that you get within it, and I loved that. I also loved Tori just popping up in the background constantly out of nowhere with her glass slurping on a straw and just offering like observations and then walking away. I love Tori. I would really love to actually see there be a spin-off and do her story as well from Solitaire, because that would be great, or maybe incorporate that a little bit more into Heartstopper, because that does run alongside Heartstopper when you get to volume 4, I think it was, so it'd be interesting to see how that plays into it. I already touched on it in the non-spoiler section, but I really loved Elle. I loved that they focused a lot more on her storyline, because she doesn't come into it as much again until like volume 3 and volume 4, and I've always loved her as a character anyway, so it was really good to see her like going to the all-girls school after coming out and seeing her make friends, and particularly seeing her make friends with Tara and Darcy as well, because you don't see them make friends in the comic. So I liked that you got to see the sort of evolution of their friendship as well, because like I said, I love all of the characters in this comic, so I liked just seeing like the wider image of everyone. It did make me cry. It was the very last bit. It was when Nick came out to his mum. Like, it gets me in the comic and it got me watching it on the TV show as well, so it definitely hit me in the feels. I thought I would have more coherent thoughts on this, but I don't. I think I do need to watch it again. I've only just finished watching it and I already want to rewatch it. That is a sign of a good TV show. I also love the soundtrack in this as well, actually. There's a mixtape that's just been released of it, and I kind of just want to have it on repeat because it had like just the perfect sort of vibe for this show. I can definitely see this as being something that I'm going to rewatch over and over again and become a comfort watch in the way that the comic is a comfort read for me. We also actually talk about the fact that the characters that you were supposed to hate, you did actually hate in the TV show. Like, they didn't try and sugarcoat anything or anything like that. The actors playing Ben and Harry were great in making you hate them. So again, job well done in sort of making these characters that you really dislike and doing it justice. Oh, and then one last thing actually that I do remember that I want to speak about. Did everyone spot Alice's cameo towards the end of it when they were going on their seaside date? I was sort of watching it. I was watching it, concentrating on them, glanced to the right and saw Alice Oseman sat there like drawing away on her iPad, and it was adorable because she will have been drawing Heartstopper while Heartstopper was happening, and I'm really glad that they've put that in there as well. Okay, editing Chloe here. I have actually started rewatching Heartstopper, because of course I have. It's the same evening and I've started rewatching it, and there's a couple of things that I didn't talk about, I forgot to talk about, and I've suddenly remembered. So basically it's all around sort of Nick questioning his sexuality. First of all of the quizzes that he did online was just like very, very adorable, and also the fact that his sort of bisexual awakening was Pirates of the Caribbean was fantastic, because as soon as they started talking about it and you could see the clip in the background, I'm like, yep, Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom is looking at both. I really liked those sort of little bits of it. The entire show felt very realistic in a very, very good way. And just all those little bits about Nick in particular. Nick is a character that I really, really liked in the TV show. I mean, I love him in the books. He's a little marshmallow and I love him, but particularly the portrayal of him in the TV show was fantastic. Right, I think that is all of my thoughts that I have at the minute. This is a really random quick video of me just gushing about how much I love this adaptation. I don't normally talk about like film and TV stuff on here very much, which is strange because I watch a lot of it, but I really had to talk about this one. So let me know, have you guys watched Heartstopper yet? How did you feel about the adaptation? Are you desperate to rewatch it already like I am? What's your favourite moments? What's your favourite character? I just want to gush about it. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below, and I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.